Bay Focus. Thank you for joining me today. Always feel so privileged to come into your home each week and share with you what God is doing in Central Florida. Bay Focus is a show where we highlight what's going on here in Tampa Bay region and beyond. We go into Lakeland, down into Sarasota, and this is really a great example of it today. We're going to focus the entire program today talking about New Life Solutions, and they have an incredible changes that have occurred and expansion of the ministry. You know, many of you know them as a pregnancy center of Pinellas County, but they're much more than that, and you're going to find out about that today. And they also have an exciting event coming up that you can be a part of. We're going to talk about that. So let me, before I go on and try to explain it all myself, I'm going to introduce to you my guest that can do a much better job at explaining. Saul Pichon is right next to me on my left, which you know very well. He is the president and CEO of New Life Solutions. Thank you so much for coming back again. Periodically, we have you on a couple times a year. And then you brought along with you, next to you, Natalie Keene, who is the director of your Tampa operation now, also known as A Woman's Place, and we're going to find out about that. And then next to her is Nancy Lathrop, who is the director of client services for New Life Solutions. Thank you all for coming on the program today. Yeah, we just love featuring you guys. Well, there's some exciting things afoot here with New Life Solutions. You guys have done some changes here, and for our viewers that may not know who you are, give some background information on what the new arrangement is here now for Tampa.
Well, first of all, New Life Solutions is a life-affirming ministry, from doing absence education out in the community, where we have spoken to over 100,000 students to try to prevent teen pregnancies. We have the multiple pregnancy centers. We have post-abortion recovery groups for both men and women. And we have a residential program for single moms and their children. We have a perinatal outreach that A Woman's Place has had for a couple years. We'll look at that. And also we have the Breath of Life Birth Center, providing birthing services for the entire community, as well as our women who have the, the crisis pregnancies. And we can just follow them all the way through by wonderful prenatal care and discipleship. So it truly is a life-affirming ministry. And then we're so humbled that the Lord has brought A Woman's Place and ourselves, A Woman's Place that's been in the community over in Tampa since the 80s, and we started in 1985. They started just a couple years after we did, and so we've been friends for all these years, doing some things together, marketing and others, and big thing is praying with each other. And so our hearts has been to help lower the number of abortions that are happening in our community, and praying for the Lord to close down the 5 abortion clinics that are over there in Tampa, the 5 abortion clinics over here in Pinellas County, and really be able to show the women and teens in our community there's alternatives. There's alternatives. So we're very humbled, very blessed that a year ago we started talking about merging together, and then as of July 1st of this year, we've officially come together as one, and so our umbrella name is New Life Solutions, and it's a family of ministries, as I just laid out. So we're excited about that.
I just think that's wonderful. Sometimes you can do more together, than separately. I mean, it's just all right. Natalie, tell me a little bit about A Woman's Place, where you guys are located, and what you've done there in the Tampa area, because we want our viewers to know you've been there for a while. You're still there working with this partnership, and some of our viewers may not know about A Woman's Place. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, like Saul mentioned, we've been there since the 1980s, and Pat Layton was the founder and president of it, and I am post-abortive myself, so I was a volunteer at the center in the beginning when I started there, and through her ministry I was restored through the abortion experience myself, and healed, and then I've been on staff almost 10 years now. So we have 2 centers now. One is directly next door to an abortion clinic, and another one is about 400 feet from an abortion clinic in South Tampa on Kennedy Boulevard.
Wow. So with that, are you really seeing that? Are you trying to bring you know, how do you say, hey, come over here? You know, I mean,
we
literally,
wish
how do
stand
you?
out there, yeah.
God
Yeah.
does bring them
He
over.
does, he
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So they can see, within eye shot of the one place, they can see you guys. Just
Absolutely. When you pull up to the center, you have to look, because both signs, what is it, maybe 8 feet between our buildings or something?
Yeah.
And so our sign is on one side and their sign is on another, and ours says a woman's place and theirs says all women's health. So, so we've had, you know, people mistakenly come into our office.
And a stealth ministry too, because people could walk in thinking they're coming in for one thing, and that's when you grab them and say, look, we have alternative.
Yes, and we do, and we have that opportunity. We know that God brought them in there, even if it is for a few moments, for us just to be able to welcome them, just give them a card with our services on there, explaining that they're free. And we have had women come back in because our services are free.
Yeah, oh wow.
After being next door, yes.
Okay, and now speaking of you, that's a nice little segue there. Nancy, speaking of services, you're the director of client services, and that means, what exactly, now under this umbrella with the pregnancy centers, there's some uniformity, I'm sure. Now, what do you do? What do you provide?
Well, yeah, we provide services for women who are in an unintended pregnancy. All of a sudden, they find themselves pregnant, they're a little bit in a shock, they need to process out loud, they need to talk to somebody, and then again, we offer our services free, that somebody will be with you. Sometimes it's a registered nurse, sometimes it's a trained volunteer, and she'll go over all of their options with them, discuss everything, help them process. We offer them free medical grade pregnancy tests, and in addition to that, a free ultrasound if they're eligible for that. Recently, we've added STD testing or STI testing, which is a whole nother arena to offer to women in the underserved population who may not get those services provided to them. So it attracts that woman between 18 and 24 to come into our centers and to just really get quality medical care.
Yeah.
And then with the follow-up with that, if they want to place for adoption, we give referrals for that. If they're choosing parenting, we help them through a parenting program or through life coaching programs, and just really provide the individualized attention that that girl needs.
Well, it sounds like you would need a whole you know, battalion of volunteers to do all this, and you guys do. You have staff and volunteers, right?
We do. We have really gone more to a medical model. So we have a number of full-time RNs that have been trained to do sonography, and they're there daily. And so as we expand over to Tampa and we pull our resources together, we'll do best practices together, and that's one right there, is to have more medical professionals. And when that happens, what happens, these women go back out into the community and say, hey, they've got nurses there. They've got folks there that are providing these free services, and it's professional, and that's what'll do it. So we're just so excited, because what God has done by pulling our resources, that we can lower our overhead. We have one president and CEO. We've brought our unified our departments and outreaches that we do, and so we want to lower the overhead, but expand throughout the Tampa Bay area by providing professional services, and for them, for our clients of all ages, just like Nancy says, you know, we get them as young as 12 years old. It just breaks your heart, and those even into their 40s. But the focus where most abortions are performed is on the age group from about 18 to 25.
Yeah.
And so that's our target audience, and those are the ones that we pray that the Lord would bring in, that they'd come to us first before they go to an abortion clinic. Because with us, they get all their options. Yeah. And I'm not so sure that they get all their options there.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, we're a Christ-centered, 501c3, faith-based organization. And you know, Darlene, that over the years, now that we've combined our two ministries, there have been over 7,000 salvations and recommitments. Thousands of babies have been saved through these two organizations,
these two ministries. That was one of the things I wanted to ask.
Yeah. Yeah, so I believe now that we have united, that God will release the Holy Spirit to start really closing down those abortion mills. And as we unify as the body of Christ, ourselves as pregnancy centers, as well as all the others in the Tampa Bay area, and the churches as we come together, because now we've got churches on both sides of the bay supporting one organization, one ministry, and that there would be a synergy created, more focused prayer, more focused support, more of the our volunteers who are well trained, and of course more of medical professionals. You put all that together. We've been praying for this for a long time.
Yeah, really.
We've talked for years. Says, how can we increase the number of babies being saved? How can we do it? Because we got two wonderful organizations. Our boards now have combined. Our staff have combined. Again, best practices. A Woman's Place has been doing some wonderful things that we're learning to do better, and vice versa.
Yeah.
And so all of us pulling our resources, pulling our experience, our expertise, our knowledge, our prayers, and so grateful that you have us on so people can understand that when there's unity and there's focused prayer and focused volunteering and focused support, God's going to do, He's going to release some mighty things.
I think it's wonderful. Whenever you see, and you had also done the Shepherds, is it Shepherds?
Shepherds Village.
Shepherds Village,
Yes.
too. That's for the single moms.
That's a residential program.
Whole residential program.
Yeah.
So all these different aspects. Okay, we're going to take a break. And in this break, our viewers are going to find out about your upcoming fundraisers.
Yes, our benefit
we'll
dinners.
talk about that benefit, too. But you tell a lot of the details in this break, because it takes resources. It takes God's people stepping in and helping. And you come to them a couple times a year, you know, to do this with the Walk for Life and then the benefit dinners. And there's a unique aspect to these dinners this year. You're having two different dinners. So let's take a look. Sal's going to explain that to us right now and what's coming up on two events that you can participate in.
These are exciting days at New Life Solutions because God has joined a Woman's Place Pregnancy Center in Tampa and the Pregnancy Center of Pinellas County together to form a stronger and more united family of ministries to help eradicate abortion in the Tampa Bay area. It's the merging of two of the largest and oldest pregnancy centers in the nation. I want to invite you to join us to celebrate this momentous occasion at one of our two benefit dinners happening this year on Thursday, November 6th at the beautiful a la carte event pavilion in Tampa, and on Saturday, November 8th at the historic Coliseum in St. Petersburg, as we always do. There is no charge to attend these dinners or to fill and host a table of 10. Our keynote speaker at both events is Dr. Bruce Wilkinson, internationally known speaker and an author of the best-selling book, The Prayer of Jabez. We look forward to hearing Bruce speak about how expanding our borders will enable us to touch and save more lives for God's glory. So, reserve your table. Now, invite your friends, co-workers, church groups, and those who have a passion for pro-life to this elegant, fun-filled, amazing celebration. Register online at dinner.newlifesolutions.org or call us at 727-216-1410. Remember, we are better together as we unite to provide hope for the future. So let's fill these two venues. I look forward to seeing you there. That's dinner.newlifesolutions.org. God bless you and thank you.
Bay Focus puts the spotlight on Tampa Bay. Join host Darlene Greenlee as she takes a look at the people and events reaching our Central Florida communities with the gospel. Plan to watch Bay Focus Wednesday mornings at 11:30 and Thursday nights at 7 right here on your CTN station.
Well, I hope you'll get out to attend one of those benefit dinners. Sal, what a great idea. This is the first time you've done the two separate ones, right? Obviously because of the merger.
Of course, yeah. And since we've merged together, we used to have our benefit dinners on the same week. One on a Thursday. A Woman's Place would have theirs on a Thursday night. We'd have ours on a Saturday night, and we're going to continue that. is continue that. And this way, this will be our first year putting this together, so the donors on both sides of the bay will get to know more about the merging, coming together, God's perfect plan, and let there be, again, more unity than ever before.
You have a great speaker. What a tremendous speaker you have.
Dr. Wilkinson will be there.
Is he doing both?
Both.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, you guys are working him. That's great.
That's right.
That's wonderful.
We're excited.
That makes streamlines it, though.
Yeah,
you have the same speaker sharing the same message.
Well, you know, he wrote the prayer of Jabez.
Yes.
And he talks about expanding, but Jabez talked about for God to expand their territory. Well, that's what God has done here. And here both centers have prayed for years for our territories to be expanded and to make more of an impact in the pro-life movement. And he's done it. Little did we know that we would come together like this, but God knew. And then to have Dr. Wilkinson come and put the pieces together, which he will do. And so we're hoping that people who are watching this, listening to this, will come and join us. It's free. It's a free event. Yeah. And we'd love to have table hosts. Just fill a table of 10. Come and join us.
I can vouch for the St. Petersburg event. I haven't been to the Tampa. Wow, it's tremendous. The Coliseum.
They're both
they'll
well
both
done.
be great. And those of you that live in Tampa in particular, you would want to do the Tampa.
Yes.
All right. I want to throw this to, because both of you work with too, Nancy and all three of you do, but I want to talk to Nancy and Natalie a little bit. Just give me an example of some of the people you've worked with. I think we really need to bring it home. People have walked through your doors, a couple of their stories, and how you've been able to bring them to save their babies, basically, is what it's all about. Let me start with you, Natalie.
Well, we have different demographics of women that come in for different reasons to the center. We're right near USF with one of our locations, so we may have a college student coming in, and of course, a pregnancy at this time in her life would interfere with any of her plans or career goals, or her parents would be freaking out if they found out that she was pregnant, and especially if she just started school. And then we also are across from a very poverty area, low poverty area. So when those women come in, it's a completely different story. Usually it's finances that's a problem, and multiple children, or their relationships are totally train wrecked. So when we've had women from both sides of those demographics come in thinking thinking about one way, but because of the being educated and learning about their options and the relationship they build. And of course, we give all of the credit to Jesus, because without him, I don't think he's the only one that can change their hearts.
Right.
When they are educated and they learn and they hear and they build, like I said, start to build that relationship with the life coach that's across from them, we've seen their hearts change. And ultrasound, we know, is definitely probably the biggest tool that we have on. It is. And what we notice in there, and Nancy I'm sure would agree, is she really had no idea. It's amazing. And
well, they're told it's not.
Exactly.
So just, they told us it's not a real person. It's not. Now, Nancy, look, you probably have a story to tell us going through your mind too. But one question I have too: do you ever see are there any couples that come in? Like, have you ever encountered that?
Every day. Every day, young couples, married couples, Christian couples. It kind of goes across all divides. An unintended pregnancy can catch anybody by surprise.
I was going to say, there's sometimes the young men involved in this.
And so we love that opportunity to educate the men too. We're real excited about a technology that we've added just this last year to the counseling sessions, which is the addition of an iPad. And the iPad, we help present prenatal development through an app that was created just this last year. And I liken it to a light switch. I mean, it's truly like you put a light switch on and somebody finally goes, oh, okay. Similar to a sonogram. It's got kind of it's like a virtual sonogram. It's got the same effect. And it's just an essential piece to educating the man and the woman.
I like that whole.
It's awesome. And they're millennials. These girls, that's the language they speak.
Right.
To open a brochure, Now it's a little bit dated.
Yeah.
We have to talk their language. We have to talk quick. You know, we don't always have a long time to talk to them. So the more we can meet them at the way that they receive knowledge, the better off they'll receive it too.
Yeah, this is all great stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm going to show something here. Saul, I want our viewers to know too that CTN is very much involved in the pro-life movement, and our president, Bob DeAndre, had a real vision to create a program that will air network-wide that tells the story of people that have gotten involved and had an abortion. And it's your story too, Natalie, and how God has stepped into their situation in a post-abortive situation and stepped in and healed their lives, and how He helped them, how many of them are saving babies today, just like what you're doing. Saul, you were involved in this program. You were involved in the start in some of the meetings and what needed to be told, what needed to be said. So let's just show this clip, because this little bit talks about what we're talking about here. It gives some real life stories, because the program is called Real Life and it's coming soon to CTN. Let's take a look.
I remember wanting to scream no when they put the mask over me and not having the courage.
That Sunday on the 20th anniversary, I was filled with anxiety, I was filled with shame, but I had finally come to a point, I suppose, where I just couldn't carry it any longer.
I literally, 28 years ago, was ready to take my life. I just thought it was over. My kids were better off without me. Why would they need a mom who could take the life of her own child?
It's a loss that is secret. It's a loss that many suffer by themselves in silence, but it will interrupt your life in all kinds of different ways.
Before I knew it, I got involved in gambling, heavily involved in gambling for about 3 or 4 years. Did a lot of really bad things. I stole from employers, wrote a lot of bad checks.
The problems that are created far outweigh what problems you think a baby will bring. And a baby is a blessed gift from God.
I walked out of that sanctuary that day completely different.
If you're hopeless and you think that your life is over because of an abortion or any kind of tragedy or something you've done in your life, our God loves us so much that He sent His Son to die on a cross for us, that He would do anything for us. With God, all things are possible.
The fallout from abortion is devastating, from addictions to suicide, suicidal thoughts, all that. Having been a therapist for a number of years before I came here, so when Bob called some of us to come together and he said, I have an idea, God has put this on my heart, there's nothing on Christian television to show the devastation of abortion. And so some of us came, we gave feedback, and put together a wonderful program. And we've got to put it in perspective, Darlene. My mother, as you know, is a Holocaust survivor. Yes. There were 6 million Jews that perished, men, women, and children. Since 1973, when Roe versus Wade became legal, there have been nearly 60 million innocent children that have perished, 10 times worse. This is the Holocaust of today. And so that's what we're dealing with. And that's why God has our pregnancy center, our life affirming ministry, as well as others throughout the country. He raised us up. And we are the voice for the unborn. We're the voice for those who have been hurt drastically by abortion in the past. That's why we try to do as much prevention as well as intervention, which is the pregnancy centers, as well as post-abortion, or we call restoration. So the post-abortion outreach needs to be more. We're talking about, their estimates are 50, 60, 70% of abortions are performed on women and couples in our church. That isn't just aside from the church, in our church. So we've got a number of people saved on the way to heaven, but they're not enjoying the journey. And what they need is to come to us or their local pregnancy center and go through the post-abortion grief support groups that'll transform them. They'll receive God's forgiveness. Then they can go and be what God called them to be. And so that's why we're here.
Yeah, you guys are on the front lines for all of that. Now, in just a few moments we have remaining, how can our viewers help you the most? And just detail it for the, not only for right now, but for the year. What are the ways that to help the pro-life process now for the year ahead here? What can they do? Well,
I tell you, we always need more medical professionals, even on a volunteer basis, to come out and join us. We need women, some who've had abortions in their past, others who can be life coaches with us. We put on baby showers at various churches. The church can do that. And we give out nearly 20,000 diapers a year. So we could use those things. And the big thing, too, is get behind us monthly and help us. You know, $1,200, about $1,200 helps save a baby. So for $100 a month, just think that our viewers can be helping save a baby. We always say, how many babies would God want you to save? And some people are in a position where they can save a baby a month, you know, 10 babies a year, whatever it may be, or help save one child, one innocent child each year. So that's what the money's about. The money transforms into lives. And so that support is invaluable.
Well, and we're going to leave it at that. We're out of time, and I want to thank the three of you so much for coming on today and sharing. And I just want to encourage you, those that are watching, just everything Saul just said on how you can help New Life Solutions on a regular basis, which of course is this huge umbrella ministry, getting bigger every day. So many different things. It includes a Woman's Place and the Pregnancy Center of Pinellas County, More to Life for young people, the abstinence programs, the post-abortive, so many things they do. But right now, this fundraiser coming up is something you can do. The dinners, the free dinners that go in, and then of course you're going to want to give a contribution, you know, at the dinner, and they'll explain that there, how you can do that, and both in Tampa, if you want to go to the Tampa dinner, or St. Petersburg, that's something you can do right now. And then of course their annual Walk for Life too, that happens in usually Mother's Day weekend. So these are ways that you can get out and support the pro-life movement here in Tampa Bay. Thank you so much for tuning this week. We'll see you next week, and we're going to close out telling you about the dinners again.
These are exciting days at New Life Solutions because God has joined a Woman's Place Pregnancy Center in Tampa and the Pregnancy Center of Pinellas County together to form a stronger and more united family of ministries to help eradicate abortion in the Tampa Bay area. It's the merging of two of the largest and oldest pregnancy centers in the nation. I want to invite you to join us to celebrate this momentous occasion at one of our 2 benefit dinners happening this year on Thursday, November 6th at the beautiful a la carte event pavilion in Tampa, and on Saturday, November 8th at the historic Coliseum in St. Petersburg, as we always do. There is no charge to attend these dinners or to fill and host a table of 10. Our keynote speaker at both events is Dr. Bruce Wilkinson, internationally known speaker and an author of the best-selling book, The Prayer of Jabez. We look forward to hearing Bruce speak about how expanding our borders will enable us to touch and save more lives for God's glory. So, reserve your table. Now, invite your friends, co-workers, church groups, and those who have a passion for pro-life to this elegant, fun-filled, amazing celebration. Register online at dinner.newlifesolutions.org or call us at 727-216-1410. Remember, we are better together as we unite to provide hope for the future. So let's fill these 2 venues. I look forward to seeing you there. That's dinner.newlifesolutions.org. God bless you and thank you.